to discuss the composition of Parliament of India. Discuss about relation between the two houses of Parliament. Ans. According to Article 79 of Constitution, the Parliament of India shall consists of three organs: the President, the Council of States, Rajya Sabha, and the House of People, Lok Sabha. The President is not a member of either House of Parliament, yet he is integral part of the Parliament. No bill passed by the Parliament shall become law unless assented by President. Like the English crown, the President is associated with the Parliament of the country. The Rajya Sabha. The Rajya Sabha or Council of State is the upper house of Parliament. The maximum membership of the Rajya Sabha is fixed at 250, of whom 12 shall be nominated by the President, and the remainder, i.e. 238, shall be representatives of states and union territories. Article 81. The representatives of states are elected by the members of the legislative assemblies in accordance with the system of proportional representation by means of the single transferable vote. The representatives from the union territories are chosen in such a manner a parliament may by law determine. The allocation of seats to each state or union territory and numbers of seats allocated to each in the Rajya Sabha are specified in the 4th schedule. The 12 nominated persons are chosen by the President from amongst the persons having special knowledge or practical experience in literature, science, art and social service. Article 83. The nominated members do not participate in the election of the President of India. The Vice President of India shall be the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. The Rajya Sabha shall also elect a member of the House to be a deputy chairman. Article 89. When the office of chairman is vacant or he is acting as the vice president or discharging the function of president, his duties shall be performed by the deputy chairman. If the office of the deputy chairman is also vacant, the duties shall be performed by such member of the Rajya Sabha as the president may appoint for that purpose. The chairman presides over the sittings of the House, and in the absence the deputy chairman presides. If both are absent, then such person as may be determined by the rule of procedure of the council, and if no such person is present, such other person as may be determined by the council shall act as chairman. Article 91. A deputy chairman shall vacate his office if he ceases to be a member of the council. He may resign his office by writing to the chairman. He may also be removed from his office by a resolution of the council passed by a majority of all the then member present. Article 90. But such a resolution can only be moved by giving at least 14 days notice. While a resolution for the removal of the chairman, vice president, is under consideration, the deputy chairman shall not preside. The chairman shall have the right to speak and take part in the proceedings, but shall have no right to vote on such resolution or on any other proceedings. Article 92. The Rajya Sabha is a permanent house. Although the Rajya Sabha is a permanent body, but in respect of powers, it enjoys inferior position vis-à-vis the Lok Sabha. A money bill can only be introduced in the Lok Sabha. The Rajya Sabha has no powers in respect of a money bill. A vote of non-confidence cannot be passed against the government by the Rajya Sabha. However, Rajya Sabha fulfill following purposes. 1. It is considered useful because senior politicians and statesmen might get an easy access in it without undergoing the ordeal of general election necessary for the members of Lok Sabha, so that experience and talent is not lost to the country and they may discuss question of public interest. 2. The existence of Rajya Sabha stops the drastic changes in the law of the country made in the heat of monetary passion and affords opportunity for its reconsideration by delaying its adoption for a limited period. 3. The Rajya Sabha is a house where the state are represented keeping with the federal principles, Articles 83, A, B. Lok Sabha. The maximum number of membership of Lok Sabha is fixed at 545. Article 81 provides that out of 545, 525 will be elected members by election in different territorial constituencies in states and 20 members will represent union territories. The members of union territories shall be chosen in such a manner as the Parliament may by law provide. The representatives of the states are chosen by direct election from territorial constituencies in the states on the basis of adult suffrage. The President may, if he is of the opinion that the Anglo-Indian community is not adequately represented in the Lok Sabha, nominate not more than 2 members of that community to the Lok Sabha. Every citizen of India who is not less than 18 years of age shall be entitled to take part in the parliamentary election and shall have right to vote in the election of Lok Sabha, if he is not otherwise disqualified under the Representation of Peoples Act. According to Article 81, 2a, there shall be allotted to each state a number of seats in the Lok Sabha, in such manner that the ratio between that number and the population of the state is, so far as practicable, the same for all states, and b. Each state shall be divided into territorial constituencies in such manner that the ratio between the population of each constituency and the number of seats allotted to it, so far as practicable, the same throughout the state. Provided that the provisions of subclause A of clause 2 of Article 81 shall not be applicable for the purpose of allotment of seats in the Lok Sabha to any state so long as the population of the state does not extend to 6 millions. The allocation of seats in the Lok Sabha to each state is determined on the basis of population. The expression population in this article means the population as ascertained at the last preceding census. The reference in this clause to the last preceding census is census of 1971. The Constitution, 42nd Amendment Act, 1976, provides that the seats in the Lok Sabha will be allocated on the basis of 1971 census, and this will continue to be so till the year 2000. This means that there will be no change in the number of seats in the Lok Sabha on the basis of 1981 and 1991 censuses. The amendment provides that the redelimitation of constituencies undertaken after each census shall take effect on such date as the President may by order specify. Seats shall be reserved in the Lok Sabha for the scheduled castes and the scheduled tribes, Article 330. This reservation was made originally for 10 years from the commencement of the Constitution. Now it has been extended to 40 years, Article 334. The normal life of the Lok Sabha is 5 years. This term may be reduced by a dissolution of the House by the President. The normal life of Lok Sabha may be extended where a proclamation of emergency under Article 352 is in operation. Such extension should not exceed 1 year at a time and not exceed in any case beyond a period of 6 months after proclamation of emergency has ceased to be in operation. Article 83. Sessions of Parliament. The President shall from time to time summon each House of Parliament to meet at such time and place as he thinks fit, but 6 months shall not intervene between its last sitting in one session and the date appointed for its first sitting in the next session. Article 85, 1. At the commencement of the first session after each general election to the House of People and at the commencement of the first session of each year the President shall address both Houses of Parliament assembled together and inform Parliament of the causes of its summons. Article 87. The President may address either House of Parliament or both Houses assembled together and for that purpose require the attendance of members. The President may send messages to either Houses of Parliament, whether with respect to a bill then pending in Parliament or otherwise, and a House to which any message is sent shall with convenient dispatch consider any matter required by the message to be taken into consideration. Article 86. Prorogation of the Houses. The President may from time to time prorogue the Houses or either House. Prorogation does not end the life of the House. It only terminates its session. The House may need and consider the pending business. Dissolution of Lok Sabha. The President may, from time to time, dissolve the Lok Sabha. Article 85. However, in actual practice this power is exercised by the Prime Minister and the President dissolves the Lok Sabha on his advice. So long as the Prime Minister is in majority in the legislature, the President is bound to dissolve the Lok Sabha if advised by him. But if the Prime Minister loses the majority in the House or defeated in a vote of no confidence, the President will not be bound to dissolve the Lok Sabha on the advice of such a Prime Minister. In such a case, the President may exercise his own discretion.